everybody, welcome back. Another episode of the Left, Right, Left podcast with your handsome host, Mark Archambault, United States Marine Corps retired Star Sergeant type, a.k.a. also known as the Silver Fox on the microphone tonight. Hey, just wanted to say thank you to everybody. Channel's performing beautifully. It does not work without all your help and support, and I can never, ever say thank you enough. We're going to skip the advertisement for tonight and get right into the program because time is the most precious resource that we have. As you know, you see this gentleman sitting on the other side of me. My true blues know because they've seen him on my program before. His name is Chris Moreno, a.k.a. also known as Cartoon Hood Figaz. He is a Chicano rapper, active duty Marine, doing great things. But there's been a serious pivot in his life, and that's why he's back on the show. Chris, say what's up to everybody, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Yeah, it's good to see your face, little brother, man. I'm just enriches my soul seeing you, man.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So here we go, man. Rather than me run my mouth, Chris, why don't we just give everybody a visual of what you were doing as a musical artist and now what you are doing as a musical artist, excuse me. So here we go. Without further ado, let's run these clips for everybody.
Sound back now, time to speak facts now. I never left, I'll be coming off fast route. Been the realest boy, what the fuck you talk about? Bitch about it too, they saw they talking out the ass now. I've been macked out, fuck with no bullshit. Give me the chopper, I don't gotta give excuses. I'll be swerving in my lane, got me moving. Tune up on a beat, I'm about to go stupid. Been about mine, so I talk my shit. Hood made certified, cause I ain't no bitch. Shit, I've been a hood figure trying to get hood rich. Graduated from a Regal to that 6'4" drip. I was stugging out the switch, what you know about that? Me and Lokes used to hit licks in a whip all black. When the yaps pulled up, never gave no slack. Shit is deeper than you think, local, fuck this rap. I don't do this, fuck the entertainers and the music. I've been in the field, fuck these rappers trying to prove it. Seen them in the videos with a toolie like they use it. You ain't fooling nobody, you softer than a cushion.
It is in his
I used to drink liquor trying to cover the void. I used to pop pills like there wasn't a choice. I used to hold pain, but I'm done with the noise. Cause if God is calling me, then I'm hearing his voice. I was poisoned by the anger and the damage in me. How can Jesus still love when he had enemies? And I know he died for us, no one said it was free. But my heart grew weary and the image of peace was out of my reach. And homie started walking away. And this love turned to pain and the pain to the hate. Just hear what I say, you're thinking I can never relate. Even Jesus had Judas as a part of the fate. I let go to hate, this anger isn't here anymore. I've been trying to walk straight cause you reap what you sow. I pay what I owe from times I was empty and cold. From the time I paid evil with the evilest soul. Take a look around, it's a beautiful life. Can't nobody say different when you're doing it right. Everybody got battles trying to stay in the fight. Started watching out the dark as I pray for the light. I'm up in the mic, the enemy is taking a loss. And I had to break free cause he gave me a cause. I was lost for a minute but I'm done with the pause. Everything from now on is for the man on the cross. Jesus.
the power of presence.
Bro, what? Brother, what? I am floored by the 180-degree pivot between kind of your grimy lyrics, talking about, your experiences and your upbringing and, being a voice of the hood, to now turning your musical artistry and your life over to God. And I've listened to previous podcasts that you've been on. I know your followers want to know, but I've read some of the things that you wrote, but I don't think you've ever clarified kind of why you have done this 180. So, hey, man, I'm going to throw the microphone over to you and tell your followers and tell the viewers a little bit about why you turned this new leaf, man. And by the way, I'm proud of you. Go ahead.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. Thank you first of all, for having me. This is honestly the first time that I speak about this. So it brings up a lot of emotional things, but one thing I want to touch on is I faced a lot of adversity, not only in my life, regular life, but also my professional career. And uncovering a little bit of it, it all had to do with alcohol, and it was a big problem in my life. It became a huge problem in my life, to the point where I faced not only legal issues with it, but also some health concerns. And as that was going on, I started noticing that I was kind of going down this whirlpool of negative things. You know, it was obviously the legal issues that I'm facing, that I'm currently still facing, right? Went through the adversity in the Marine Corps. Obviously, I got punished for my actions and, you know, still facing some legal stuff outside. But I think the biggest one definitely was my health. And touching on the health subject, it was something that I had previously dealt with, and we spoke a little bit about it on the previous interview that we had. But I didn't really touch much on it because at that time I didn't know how serious the health problems were.
Right.
And the big issue was, you know, I put myself obviously through a lot of emotional and physical damage with the alcohol that it landed me in the hospital. Now, coming out of the hospital, I never realized how the importance of taking the doctor's advice and pretty much stopping with them telling me, hey, you need to stop drinking. You need to stop, you know, doing this because sooner or later it's going to end up, you know, affecting you in a very negative way.
Yeah.
Right. And at this point, obviously, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff, right? Going through the whirlpool that I just spoke about and going down this rabbit hole of drinking every day, being addicted to alcohol to the point where I was depending on it, right? I would get home after a hard day, drink, you know, pick up a beer. And it never was a point in my life or in that moment where I said, this is enough. So I never had a stopping point. You know, once that beer cracked open or, you know, the bottle poured up a drink, it became all right, now let's keep on amplifying that feeling. Right. Which essentially I was just numbing myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, it gets to the point where I keep doing this. I'm still dealing with stomach issues and they're not getting any better. Now, mind you, I'm not taking any advice as we spoke about, right? I'm being hard headed and I'm doing the Marine thing. Like, you know, I can just cope with the problems myself. I'm not going to talk to anybody about it. I'm just going to keep doing my thing. And unfortunately, it got to the point where I went on leave back to Texas. And the second day of being in Texas, the pain gets so bad that I speak to my parents and I said, I think I need to go to the hospital again. So this is the feeling that I had before, but it's a lot worse than what I remember it.
Yeah.
So they take me to the hospital. They do some scanning, some lab testing, and they pretty much just tell me, I think you need to follow up with your GI. You know, whoever it is, the specialist that's working with you, you need to follow up with them because you have a lot of elevated testing that got done that needs to get checked out. So, you know, I get admitted to the hospital for a couple of days. You know, they put me on liquid diets again. You know, as I stated the last time, you know, I was on liquid diets. I didn't learn, so I get put on liquid diets again. I come out. I spend the rest of my days of leaving Texas. Mind you, I still continue drinking afterwards. And then I fly back to California. The crazy thing is that after those couple of days happened, they called me exactly on my birthday, which was January 9th. And, you know, here I am planning this big birthday party. You know, I'm going to, you know, go out with the family, have a couple drinks, you know, do the Marine thing, right? And I get a call and I'm with my, one of my gunnery sergeants, back at the shop. We were going over some things and, we were talking exactly about, you know, what we were going to do to celebrate my birthday. And I answer the call and they say, you know, Mr. Moreno, this is so-and-so. Do you have some time to talk about your testing that was done for you in Balboa? And I said, yeah, sure, of course. And they said, we need you to come in as soon as possible because we found some cancer cells in your colon. And I think that was a moment in my life where everything just kind of hit me at once. You know, it was the health problems, the legal problems, everything that was happening in my life. I think that was a moment where my brain kind of just flipped on that switch and I couldn't take it no more. So I stepped out and I went to the car and I remember crying and I said, what am I going to do now? Like, what am I going to do? You know, I started rubbing my head in anxiety and I called my mom, and I didn't tell her about at the time, I didn't tell her about the cancer cells, but I called my mom, and, I just broke down to her, and I told her, this is it. Like, I can't do this no more. Like, I don't know what else to do. And she says, can I pray for you? She's obviously talking to me in Spanish, but she says, obviously, can I pray for you? And I said, please go ahead. So I'm listening to my mom in the speakerphone, praying over me and my health. But she says something along the lines that dear Lord, I hope that you give my son enough peace, right, to deal with the storm that is coming his way. Right. And
powerful, man. That
yeah,
is powerful.
Yeah. And that's when it hit me,
So, let me ask you this, Chris. So a lot of people have health problems, and a lot of people have, alcohol issues, and, and they're able, to, overcome those issues per se, but they don't necessarily rededicate their life to God. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, I know your mom's praying for you and you're kind of building up to it, but like, what was that like light bulb moment where you're like, man, like now is the time, I got all these things, but like, what was the thing where you said, look, I'm not going to go to like a 12-step program. I'm not going to, just cut back on my dieting. I'm going to rededicate my life to God and put it in his hands.
So, I received the prayer, and I obviously everything's hitting me emotionally. So I start thinking, maybe I do need to pray. I've never really sat down and truly devoted myself to God to talk to him. And, I've had people, invite me to church or, go to church, but there was this one time where I said, I'm just going to go to church, right? I'm gonna go to church and, I don't know. I'm not following religion, but I'm just following God because I feel it deep in my heart that that's a relationship that I need to create. So I go to church and, I start going, a couple Sundays out of the week, obviously the month. And it didn't really hit me till I want to say maybe after my third or fourth time going. And it wasn't through a sermon. I tell people, people here like, maybe you heard a sermon. I said, no, it was not through a sermon. I see this gentleman, he goes up to the front and it's during worship hour and, they're playing music. And he's singing a song and he says through that song, he says, I searched the world for unnecessary things trying to fill a void in my life that only you could fulfill. And when I tell you, bro, that I was over flooded by emotion, by everything that I could possibly feel in that moment, I knew that that was the right place and the right time that I needed to be. And I felt like I had my worries, but I felt like I could give them to somebody and somebody could understand me. And yeah, that was my relationship with Christ. That's when it started growing, and it became a thing where after that happened, I just started making adjustments to my life. Now, I was still battling with the want of wanting to drink, right? I'm not going to say I wasn't. Yeah, I wanted to drink. I wanted to do all this stuff. But it was almost like if I've had that little voice in my head that was telling me, you know better, right?
Yep. And resting on your shoulder at all times, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Right here, man.
100%.
I feel you on that.
Yeah, and I think, after a while, it started becoming a custom now. I started accustoming myself, and that's when it started flowing into my regular life. Now, I would wake up now and, through my day and, ask God for whatever it is that I'm dealing with, or just for the good, for the bad, everything. But, hearing through my time as my relationship with Christ is going and everything, I've heard so many people say, well, you're basing things off religion. And, and my thing is, it's not religion. It's just, I know where I am in life, and why would I accept the thing that damaged me the most and created so much problems in my life back into my life, which was alcohol.
Yeah.
And I think I feel that with my relationship with Christ. And Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let me ask you this, right? Because you have a crew,
Hmm.
you have people that you hang out with, you got friends and stuff. You're drinking and you're building this culture with them. You have artists that are signed to your label, etc. You guys are. Let me just flat out, man. Like when you did the 180 and you started I know it wasn't like overnight. This little process and stuff that you created. What what came and gone with that, if that makes sense? Like how did that dynamic unfold? I think that's kind of important for people to understand.
I'm not gonna lie to you, it was very hard, because when you do a complete 180 that you speak about, people have this image of you already in their head. So when you start portraying a difference, right, a change for the better, and overall, human beings don't like change. They
Yeah,
conform to what they see every day. So when
sure.
they started seeing this change, um, people started walking away, and it was very abrasive in my life, because it was almost like they threw jabs, or certain people didn't want to talk to me anymore, or they would make comments like, oh, I forgot that you're all holy now, and things like that kind of drove me away from those relationships. And it wasn't because I didn't want to speak to them anymore, not at all, because I will always keep saying this: my table is always open to the ones that I've always helped. I will always be here for them.
Yeah,
But if you as a friend are measuring my friendship, if you're measuring my friendship based off the fun that you want to have, or the drinks that you want to have, or to partake in any of the things that you want me to be part of, then that's not really a friendship, because you're basing it off of the fun that we are having,
that's
right?
conditional, man. That's
Yeah,
conditional, and that's bullshit. That's not ride or die, man. That's conditional.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
But
I know it's got to be tough, man.
yeah, yeah, and you know what? I will say that I still have my some people that have stuck around, and they're super supportive with the help. They don't make any comments. They treat me as if nothing happened, but I think that the breakoff for those relationships was necessary,
Yeah,
because we
for your
asked, yeah, 100%. And I asked God, dear Lord, if things are not meant for me, then please let it be known. Remove these things from my life that I don't need, that are no longer a positive thing in my life, that are not going to affect me any positive way. Just remove them from me. So that way, not only I can grow as a person, but I can be a better individual towards the people that actually want to be there.
God has a way of sorting it out, right, Chris?
100%.
I mean that's not some old cliche, and that's just the way it is, man. I mean I'm fired up for you. So I guess let me ask you this, right? Like compared to what you're doing, and I want the viewers to know, like you were doing on the surface, right? Like
Yeah.
on the surface, social media, and like your everyday work, like you were doing really, really well. I mean, you were, in demand, to go perform, and you were in demand, to produce tracks. You got artists that depend on you. You're building your
Yeah.
label. Like, you were doing really, really well. Um, how are you doing now that you did, this shift in your life?
Man, I think it's come with as much as negative things happened, and I wouldn't even say negative, but as much as I felt I was faced with adversity, like in my career, and you know even legal stuff outside the Marine Corps, and people walking away. The blessings that have come from me doing this change in my life have been overwhelming. And it even starts with just the people that comment on my social media. It's If you look at the comments, it's so positive, and I think the biggest reward, is not even these deals or shows that people are calling me out to. It's the messages I get.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I read messages, and hearing what you just said to me from another perspective, another person saying, hey brother, I saw you when you started. I need to ask, what did you do to make that change in your life? Because I'm struggling with the same thing. And I think you're iconic, right? To making that change. You are somebody I look up to. When I see those words, you're somebody that I look up to. It puts a fire in my heart, because it makes me feel that what I am doing is for the better. if I can help somebody out, with a song or with what I'm posting, and I make their day 100 times better, that just makes what I'm doing even
Oh,
feel,
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, man. We got this saying here in the podcast, pay it forward.
Pay it forward. That's right,
Pay
brother.
it forward, man. That's good stuff. Man, it warms my heart, hearing, the delving the details of, of why. The most important thing is that I'm just so glad that you're doing better and that you feel better. And the other part is that I was concerned about, and I'll let you kind of, as we dovetail out of this podcast, I would say that when you first came out, when I first saw that you had made this change, when I was following you on socials and I reached out to you and talked to you, I was a little bit concerned that a lot of people would turn their back on you because let's be honest about it. Like religion isn't what it was, 50, 60, 70 years ago. Like there's a lot of people that poo poo on it. You alluded to it earlier, like, oh, he's a holy roller now. He doesn't want to talk to us. A lot of people have rid themselves of religion, and I'm not here to judge those people. Like that is their friggin' choice. But for
100%.
you, I have seen what I believe, and I'll let you clarify. It seems like you have gained a lot more support, social media support, and people, that are encouraging you. Over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the same thing. I took a break from social media for 2 months. And obviously during these 2 months, that's what happened. It was from December to January timeframe. That's the chemo stuff that I started with the cancer scare and everything that's happening, which it's still happening, but, I when I came back, I said, I'm going to go all in for God. I'm going to do it. And at this point, like, I know I'm going to lose people. And if I lose people, then so be it. At least I'm praising his name, right, under my belief, right? And like I said, it's never about religion. It's just on my relationship with God and what he's done in my life. That's what I wanted to portray. And that's what I will keep on portraying, my relationship with him. But when I dropped that first video, which was Letter to God, where I'm literally explaining, right, my testimony, dealing with the alcohol addiction, with my health, and kind of trying to get a response from him and me receiving it and what he's done in my life, it took me by storm by how many people started sharing it, because the biggest thing was this, the comments that kept saying, this is the cartoon that I knew was in there. Or this is the dude that's breaking the mold, instead of like the whole Chicano gangster rap scene. Now we have somebody that came from that, right, surpassed it, and now he's making his own lane with this testimony that he has.
Yeah.
And the support that I've received, man, I can't tell you how much people, have try to get me on their podcast to speak about this. And I wish that I could jump on every single one and talk about this. I wish that I could respond to every single message that I get, but I don't have so much time in my day to do that. But
No.
like I said, I'm overwhelmed by support, brother. The comments, the positive, messages, the positive feedback that I get, it's super overwhelming. So it changed for the better. It definitely, boosted my confidence to speak more on that. It boosted the platform in such a good way, right? And I never speak about numbers. I don't like numbers, because we shouldn't measure our success off of numbers. It should be our actions. But the actions that come from the videos that I drop, and, that engagement of people saying, your song really got me through the day, or your song really put me at a different level than what I was. That is the measurement that I go by, because it's been super overwhelming.
It's always about quantity over quantity. I agree with
Absolutely.
you. However, it is really cool and refreshing to know that, that you're doing, your artistry, a little bit in a cleaner way, in a relationship with God that turns a lot of people off, but yet you successfully, I'll say it for you, bro. You successfully grown your social media almost twofold. And the support that you're getting is phenomenal, man. It really helps me keep in context that, that as much as, we look and scroll through our phones every day and we're like, oh my God, we're so screwed, like America is screwed, like society, man, your faith in humanity is down in the dumps.
Yeah, absolutely.
The reality is that most people out there, just are really, really good humans and just want to do, right by their families and do right by other people. So
Absolutely.
You're a perfect guest for this podcast, man. Because you know
Thank
how
you, brother.
man. We trying to teach people things, show them different things, and let them know that they're not alone. And continue to promote positive vibes, throughout our veteran community, and and throughout anybody that's bold enough to tune into programs like mine. It's
Absolutely.
great. Yeah. Last thing I'll say before I give you the save rounds, your change, right? How has it impacted, your relationship with your wife? Go ahead.
Man, I think it's become one of those things where, we all have problems, and we deal with issues, but I always try to resort, myself to think before I speak, and it's not necessarily just with our relationship, but also with other people. I try to think in regards to, is it the right moment to say what I'm about to say, or should I cool off, walk away for a little bit, think about it, dawn on it, and then come back to revisit the topic? Because I will say it, I was a hothead, and
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing that has switched off, in my brain, to think before I speak, or give somebody the time before we address what we need to address.
I
Hey,
think
you're
that's
not cooled off. Yeah.
I think that's a super important point. And I think the other thing about it, just from, an outsider's perspective, is that I think that you kind of clean up your behavior a little bit and you clean up your language a little bit when your head's clear.
Yeah, 100%.
Alcohol, brother, I've had my struggles with it too. I've had my legal issues with alcohol. And, I tell you, man, like you get, when you're drinking every day, you get foggy.
Yes.
You're foggy the next day, and like you said, I just think that, you tend to run your mouth a little bit more than you should and say things maybe that you shouldn't say. And you lose a little bit of that self-discipline when you're foggy. So it makes perfect sense what you're saying. When you got a clear head, you're more deliberate and you're more thoughtful in your relationships with your family and your relationships with your Marines, et cetera, et cetera.
100%.
Yeah.
And, touching a little bit back to it, I think that's helped me understand myself a little bit more.
Yeah.
It makes me, I'm not saying I'm not against drinking, right? If you drink, all
Right.
power to you, right? I respect it. But I know that for me as a person, I won't give you my 100% if I'm drinking, because I know that, like I told you, that one drink is going to turn into two, then two into four, and I will keep on going, because unfortunately I grew up in a family of alcoholism. So that almost that addictive behavior has kind of come on into me, in my life. But it's nothing against them. That was my choice,
Yes.
And yeah, it's definitely giving me a new perspective in the way I talk, in the way that I approach people in situations with a better, clear head.
Cool, man. Hey, man, we're gonna get to wrapping this up. I think we got to the heart of the matter, man. This has been phenomenal, hearing your story. But I did want to, throw you the spiral one last time and ask you if you have any like final thoughts or any anything that you'd like to share, with the viewers, or any impactful things that can help, whatever. Anything.
Yeah, absolutely. To the veterans watching this, even the people watching this, I know that, we may be going through issues in life, but feeding into our addictive behavior is never the way. And just know that there are people out there that are here for you, people that are willing to support you, that want to be in your circle. It's just a matter of us letting them in to help us. So to the person, watching across the screen, thank you so much for the support. We're here for you. I know my Instagram is always there. You can, find me on Instagram. You can always reach out to me. I have a big heart for veterans, because I know what it's like to be on that end of the spectrum. And the only thing I want to do is build not only a better veteran community, but hope that I'm able to touch somebody, in a positive manner, that they can possibly improve their life, or think about things twice before, it gets to the point to where I am or was.
That's why I love you, man. That's why I love you. You're still, serving, a purpose that's greater than yourself. And
Thank you, brother.
not only are you serving God, you believe, you believe in helping others, and you believe, in sharing experiences to help other people grow. and share. That's what it's all about, man. It's all about giving back.
Absolutely.
That's why I love you, man.
Thank you, brother. I love you too, man.
I know, and that is not something that we are bashful to say on this show. We
Never.
say more of that stuff. And last thing I'll say, before we wrap up here is that, to all the viewers, we've lost at least, in my social media profiles and stuff, we've lost a few guys, to suicide the last few weeks. It's been difficult. Just know that. Remember, the biggest lies that we tell ourselves is, one, we tell ourselves that nobody can understand. That is a bold-faced lie. And then we tell ourselves that nobody cares. That's a bold-faced lie too.
100%.
Now, everybody cares is a lie. But I assure you that within your circles and within your networks, you have ride or dies that care deeply about you. Never forget that, man. And, don't provide a permanent solution, to a temporary problem. That's not it. Yeah. Amen to you, man. Brother, I'm proud of you. It warms my heart knowing that you are in a much better state, in a much better place. I pray that your health, continues to get better and that you stay on the path that you're staying, man. It's just really important, man. It's all about, you and the way that you feel in your path, in your journey, and not having to satisfy, others through, bad behavior. That is not it. So thank you for spending time.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for spending time with us, tonight. And all the viewers out there, you already know how we roll around here. Be bold, be brave, be exceptional. You get one chance in life, and let's friggin' go. Make it happen. Level up. Build yourself a better life. Continue to friggin' put in that work, and good things will come your way. All right, Chris, say good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. I love you guys. Take care.